to be talking about this here. But before I get to that, and this camera, I'm sorry, this camera is a little awful. I'm here, we're doing this broadcast on StreamYard. So it's not my preferred way to stream, but when we're going to allow people on, which we are going to do that on this show, we're going to allow you to come on and join via a StreamYard link, which I will put in the chat box when we are making it available. Some other folks that are part of the Global Witness family on some of the other social media sites have received a link already, and they'll be coming in. So they have first shot at jumping in at first, and then I'll rotate those through the different various Global Witness family sites as we do these types of shows, most likely on a Sunday. I would like to do a show where we bring people on a Sunday. But this is going to be the most important subject, I believe, for those that are standing in Christ or those that are starting on a journey, because this will be one of the most derailing things. If the elect could be deceived, if the very elect could be, this is what this is. And it comes at us in so many multitudes of ways. Now, there was a comment that I received right when this began. Let me show this. Sorry, but what a vile graphic and title. Are you trying to be titillating? Can't say I've been wanting to watch any recent streams of late. Spirit is not drawing me in, but felt led to share. Well, when you have something like that feel led to share, but let me put that back up. Don't know who this person is. Actually, can't recall. Maybe some of you have seen her in chat, but I don't recall this person. But let me tell you exactly why I've named this that. I've been involved in technology for quite some time. And okay, I can actually share this a little bit. This is called Quake, official trailer. So I've started in building these 3D worlds. I started building these in 1995. 1994 is when the Quake engine began. And crazy enough, Quake official trailer 2021, August 19th, 2021. I had no idea. But I would build when I was at building all of Sony Pictures Entertainment, all of their networks. And we were doing Jerry Maguire at the same time. So here I am, this IT guy running this whole operation of changing things at Sony Pictures, and on the Sony Pictures lot, also doing Jerry Maguire film. And I was building this. So let me explain. Let me just show you what this is. And then I'm going to explain to you how this all functions. This is Quake. This is the game. And they're not showing you the new game. This is a reintroduction of the old game. It's just now enhanced on PCs and consoles. But it's literally the same exact game. It doesn't even look any different. Just more efficient. Faster. Now, what made this game unique? I'm not going to keep going with that. What made this game unique is that you could build your own map. So I built a map inside the game of the entire studio. And we would have people on the internal studio network playing each other. We would join in that map and we would chase each other through the studio lot. And of course, when the head of the studio would get on the game, everybody would rush to his office to kill him because he would spawn in his office. And I built the entire map. So this immersive experience from a visual standpoint and this 3D experience, this engine is still being utilized today. I had no idea what I was helping build. This is how the enemy uses us and all of our skills because it's his world. So I wanted to point that out because along this way, with this comment that it was titillating, that having sex in the metaverse was an outrageous title. I got to tell you, this very medium, how I'm talking to you right now, YouTube, streaming media, downloadable video content, codecs, the encoding of it, all of it, the entire start of it started because of the porn industry. Period. There was no other incentive because it was instant money, instant revenue. It was instantly a huge business. The advances in social media took place because of the porn industry. And it's always worked that way. The development of the VCR was because of porn. All of these technologies, I was in these avenues in the motion picture business from a technological standpoint. So what I'm telling you is everything was driven by the porn industry. And look at Hollywood. I mean, seriously, it's not much different. They just have different rules for the theaters that they put theirs in, but that's it. But they're the same industries. And they have the same mentality. So anyway, if just the last little piece of the world right here, let me roll Tide for those that follow college football. Malia's over here pumping her fist.
Roll Tide, baby.
So that's the reason for the name. Just to let you know, that's the only reason for the name. But let me add this here. So the second beast, here, let me make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Revelation 13:11 through 18. Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast. Now look at that. It makes the earth and its inhabitants worship. How does the earth worship the beast? How? Unless the earth is controlled by the beast. So what I'm saying here is there will be a new earth, right? A new earth. So think about the metaverse. As I'm going through this today, it's going to be very important that you follow this. As I'm going through the things that I'm going to be showing you about the metaverse, keep all of this in mind. Now, it makes the earth and all of its inhabitants worship the first beast whose mortal wound was healed. So the world we live in, it'll have a mortal wound, but it'll be healed. And it performs great signs and even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, the first beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, breath, make it live, a metaverse, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. It also causes all, both small, great, both rich, poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead. Oof, you're going to see as this gets. So that no one can buy or sell unless he has that mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, it's the number of a man, and his number is 666. It's the number of what man is. So as I've shown you, there are multitudes, and I'm sure you've seen in Jacob's videos and many, many more. The linkage to 666 has multitudes of meanings. But here, this one could also be 666, which is World Wide Web, and has been for quite some time. So this World Wide Web would be the number of a man. It's where you would live, literally. So, but what else do we have going on right now? Volcanoes, massive Earth transformations. These are literally all the active volcanoes right now on Earth. Nothing like it's seen before. Atmospheric changes, weather. Obviously, you've seen all that. We followed that. Global tyrannical rule. Well, that's coming. Deadly viral attacks on humans? Of course, we've seen this. Encampments for the divergent? Yep. Building them? For sure. Encampments. Social upheaval? I mean, which way are we going to lose this war, right? How are we going to be killed? What is the next threat to destroy everything? Global famine and shortages on everything coming. Financial and economic destruction. But note this. The reason why they tell you that inflation right now, all of the World Economic Forum, all the financiers, the head, Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, all of them say, you know what? You don't have to worry about inflation because the inflation killer is our digital, the digital economy that we're building right now. How quickly do they have to build this thing to save or to be around when the crash of the financial systems happened, which is an intentional crash. However, the timing of it isn't necessarily known by anybody except that, the roll of the dice, but it's already been initiated, so to speak. So there's a clock ticking, big time. Cosmological upheaval, that's happening. Now, the interesting thought would be, let's say that we are, like Elon Musk says, the odds of us actually being in a simulation right now are exponentially greater from a scientific standpoint. And he's right. Exponentially greater that we live in a simulation right now than it is than we have that we don't. And the reason for that is because of the level and the speed of our advancements today of us building a omniverse, metaverse, the verse, the new earth, the new heaven. All of it will be new. Crazy. You think so, right? Follow along. Flat Earth destroyed, just to help you out too. Those that believe the Earth's flat, yeah, that one's going to get it as well. But see, here's the difference. Here's what I'd like to say. Here's the crazy part. If we are in a simulation today, maybe the two gods, Enki and Enlil, are on that Earth enjoying themselves while we sit in little pods like the Matrix, and they watch us in a flat Earth environment enjoy ourselves and do everything they want to within it while they watch us. I'm just saying, for those of flat earthers where, they thought I don't think of those, I just don't have an opinion about it. But now I'm saying that there could be a relevancy to that. Just saying that we have a flat Earth, but there really is a round Earth. And that's where the people are enjoying themselves while we here are in their flat Earth test tube, so to speak. What else we have coming? Alien invasion? I don't know. Whatever they want to make happen. Like I said, either natural or unnatural, they're both going to accomplish the same exact thing. Remember, false flags or these events in the world that people call false flag events, or they say that they're a hoax, shootings and stuff like that. The problem that you have to understand is they are a false flag, but all the false flags that are conducted by those that conduct actual large-scale false flags kill people doing it. It's a necessary loss. They're simply burnt offering to accomplish God's goals. So don't worry. So that brings us to the metaverse and the omniverse, which you could not imagine is happening. It is. So let me bring this up here. Augmented to alternate reality. I'm going to cover this is a very high level look because this subject matter, folks, I'm just going to let you know right now. I could talk for weeks on this in details and go into the nanobot aspect of this thing and the different types of technology and go into the weeds on those things to prove to you that this is accomplishable and it's happening. Because, but we don't have time for that. This is so I can show you with your eyes what to begin looking at, and you're going to start seeing things, and that way you'll be able to see the speed at which they're happening. Because I'm going to tell you right now, to try to avoid the omniverse, metaverse, all of it is going to be next to impossible. If you're even remotely thinking about being in this world in the same way that you've been, it's going to be very, very difficult, and they're going to force that upon you. They already are. Look at the world's conditions. They're forcing the conditions that will make you go into that you will love being in the metaverse. You won't want to be out here. Nope. So let me go back to this. The immersive experience by levels of advancements 2022. So next year, already right now in 2021, South Korea government announced the creation of a national metaverse alliance with the goal to build a unified national VR and AR platform. Now, let me explain to you what that's all about. That VR, that platform that they're talking about, because people will own their own land. They're already buying land for millions of dollars in the metaverse right now as we speak. The metaverse, the size of the economic impact of the metaverse already predicted by, I'm talking every major financial agency, including the World Economic Forum. Remember the statement, you'll own nothing and love it and like it? That. You'll own nothing. They'll own you, but you'll be living someplace else. That's their dream, and they're going to make it happen. So, but let me explain to you that these advancements that are taking place, these governments are getting in on the real estate and the financial aspect of it. They have to own themselves. If they don't get in now, they will be taken over by the corporate bankers that will be building within the metaverse. It's not going to be any different than the world we live in right now. Every single thing that is physical will be recreated by you in the metaverse, because they already have your information. They already know, for the most part, who you are, or at least how you express yourself amongst people and in the world and how you operate. They've obtained all of that. And these companies right now are bidding for their shared data. So I guarantee you, Twitter has tons and tons of information in that database with regards to you that they've put into machine learning that outputs a personality component to you that then, combined with what Facebook has and then what the government has and what your banking has and what you spend and all of that, it will develop and create through its machine learning such an advanced identity of who you are in that digital space. All they have to do is wrap on the pictures and the texture of your skin and make you a real avatar. So, and it'll operate on its own, just like you for the most part. So even when you're not in the metaverse, you're still going to be wandering around the metaverse, doing what you do. Now, that doesn't sound scary yet, but now let's get to this porn part. Because as I get into this and these details, with this machine learning, and it's not just gaming. This isn't gaming. This is everything. Every major corporation, they've already forced you to work from home. They've already gotten you used to that. They've already accomplished that. So gaming is not the substance that most will even seek in it. It's going to be intimacy driven. They're going to drive that. Absolutely intimacy driven. This experience is already so immersive just with goggles. Just with goggles. It's already so immersive and so personal. It's terrifying. So, but this gets way, way, way worse because you think, oh, it doesn't matter. I will never be there. Watch. This is why I'm telling you it's so dangerous. So, but they're going to take over, just like I put here, new unique forms of employment within that verse. They're already building it. You can already go work in the metaverse. There are jobs right now that will pay you to build things in the metaverse. You have to go into the metaverse to build them. You see them. It's like you're, and every single one of the videos of Mark Zuckerberg or NVIDIA and Microsoft's metaverse, all of these companies that are beginning this. Now everybody's going to be part of the metaverse. Your state will be part of the metaverse. Your local districts will be part. Everybody will have to become part of it because the economics and our entire financial system will be attached to it. So when you own a piece of property in real estate in the physical world, you own that same piece of property, or you better buy it and own it, or somebody else is going to own it. And then they will monetize their location in the metaverse because people are going to put their kids in school in the metaverse as well. Oh, and that's just the beginning. I'm telling you right now, they're not just going to put them in school. In later versions of this, the second the baby is born, they're going to connect that baby to this thing and he won't ever have to leave. I'll explain. But the explosiveness of these technologies right now is so terrifying. What this is going to be, as I was saying in chat earlier, it's so difficult to even talk about what this is going to be and to give it a name. It's going to, explosive and there any descriptor doesn't cover what this is going to be. What they're building right now, that does not. So the only thing is the great and terrible day of the Lord. Great and terrible. Great, because it'll be sold. And Malia definitely has some comments to make on this. We were talking about this earlier. So when she comes back in after my rant, because I've got a lot to say here, it's remarkable. Let me just very quickly here. So the unique forms of employment is going to be much, much more different. Your job itself, if you have employment right now for, let's say you book travel, Well, the travel agency you work for is going to make you work in the metaverse. And that'll be the customer service and all of that. So that's why this is going to be explosive. The outside physical world will be so tyrannical at that point. That's why I'm saying what they're doing. It'll be so tyrannical that you'll fight to stay in it. You won't mind leaving it. The safety of the metaverse will just be incredible. And by the way, you'll have new relationships and they'll foster those types of things. And then on the other side, you've got the sexual part of it. But that, I'm just getting started with that. Forget about porn. But people will already be experimenting with things because it's not real. It's fake. People that couldn't be corrupted will be. And if you think that those things that you do in that environment don't have an impact on your soul, they do. Is it your fault? No, but you're going to hold it against yourself. It'll be the same exact situation that we have today. The same exact situation that we have today. You will still bear those sins. That's why I'm saying it's a whole new set of sins. Malia's got something to talk about that on that. And she's passionate about it. So, and as I said, it will be forced employment. Now, here's the data right now that 40 to 60% of people will spend almost 100% of their time in the metaverse just in 2025. 2025. And by 2030, they estimate that 100% of people will spend 100% of their time in their metaverse. Now, that's a heck of a statement. How can you spend 100% of your time in the metaverse? You got to go to the bathroom, right? You have to eat food, right? Well, what if you could buy food in the metaverse and you eat it and you can actually taste it? Now, how would that happen? Well, that happens through some other things. So let's go into this. Because this is going to be crazy, but I'm going to play this video right now and let this begin to speak for itself.
We always ask, where is the future going to take us? But the real question is, where are we going to take the future?
There are no closed doors, no walls.
Holy mackerel, this is unbelievable.
We may have brain surgeons in Edinburgh operating on patients in New Zealand.
You'll send emotions, feelings, memories.
Imagine a world where we are represented the way we want to be.
You know, in the future, it just feels like long distance won't be so distant.
There's a big frontier. Where do you want to go?
It's so good.
And we're just getting started.
Appreciate the past, utilize the present, but don't be afraid to create the future.
The future will be made by us. And again, I said we could go into the weeds. We could go into the weeds for years on just the logo. But let me play just a clip of this guy and listen to him. I'm going to just put these pieces in your mind so then you'll understand when I get to the level of the things that I'm going to be talking about. I'm trying to ease you into something that you may remember. You know, Neo, remember Neo? Yeah, you may remember that. And when I get to it, you're going to see. But this guy's going to talk about how this destroys the internet as you know it. And then I'm going to get to a few other videos here. These are just pieces, just tiny pieces. Like I said, each one of these things have hours and hours of depth that you could get into. But I'm just giving you the bits and pieces of it so you can begin thinking about it.
Those are in place for the metaverse. And before we get on to number 3, take a moment just to imagine how this metaverse is going to end the internet as we know it. No more Google search as we have our own virtual assistants doing the searching for us. No more keyboards as we walk and talk just like in the real world. No more apps as we just travel from world to world. No more screen time as we're simply accessing the metaverse via wearable devices. And no more storing by IP address, but actually by time and place in virtual reality. Markets, entire economies, and even countries will grow up in this virtual world. and we'll use it to access and enhance our existing world. Whether you experience the Eiffel Tower in real life or in a virtual world, or in real life via the eyes of a robot while you're in the metaverse in another part of the world, that's going to be entirely up to you. And in the next decade, for better or for worse, this is all going to be reality. The internet and mobile phone will be just as much a relic tomorrow as pagers and fax machines are today. How soon will this happen? That has everything to do with number 3, the hardware. As you're seeing, the metaverse is emerging out of the games market, and the world's 2.5 billion gamers are accessing their virtual worlds in 3 main ways. 45% by mobile, 30% by games console, and 25% by PC.
More of this has been built than you knew.
As 5G rolls out, it will increase mobile speeds by up to 100 times 4G. That's fast enough to create a seamless link between our real world and the metaverse. Everyone's racing to get out faster, cheaper wearables to access the metaverse. From Facebook's Oculus, Microsoft's HoloLens, and Sony's PlayStation VR, these clunky VR goggles are now being replaced by smart glasses. Here's the latest news. Facebook is launching smart glasses in 2021 with Ray-Ban. That's next year. Apple is likely to launch Apple Glass AR glasses by 2022. And Amazon has already launched with its Alexa-powered Amazon Echo frames, which are already being offered by invitation. And while it may be 5 years away before we have a fully seamless experience
not even close
of our real world and the metaverse, we will already be living, learning, connecting, creating, and playing in it long before then. By 2024, we'll be spending more time in 3D virtual worlds than today's 2D internet. As for the internet, you'll either be watching this video on a wall of the metaverse or on the wall of a cafe through your smart glasses, or I'll be transformed into a 3D bot in your virtual world. So what do you think? Will the metaverse transform humanity for good? Will it result in a Ready Player One style universe or a dystopia like The Matrix? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
So that's Roger James Hamilton. Go to his channel. He's got 172,000 subscribers. Tell him that we sent you. And he's got some great content. He just not Global Witness style content, but definitely some great looks at things. So next we could watch Creeping Mark Zuckerberg, and we will watch a little bit of it because this man talks about things that, that are dystopian as hell. And he says it with a robot face. And the irony is, we've always talked about and speculated, maybe he is a robot because trust me, they can make the reason why they always show you pictures of robots today that look like robot skin and all that is to make you think that they actually don't have the ability to make that. They make that robot like Sophia, right? And they still leave mechanical arms to make her look like in the back of her head, like a thing. So she's not normal. They can make them very, very, very good already. Robotics and the advancements are incredible. So, but it's crazy that in this video, when he joins this group, there's another guy that's a robot in the virtual world. And he says, I thought I was supposed to be the robot. And I was like, well, that's crazy. He just said. So we'll get to that. This is NVIDIA's Omniverse versus Facebook's Metaverse. And the reason why I had added this is because this was just kind of a little virtual world thing with, you remember Beetlejuice, right?
A little anxious, if you know what I mean.
So in this little tiny world, as crazy it is, that in Beetlejuice, Alec Baldwin's character made the little model, right? And then all of a sudden in the model, this thing shows up. And she's like, who made that? His wife's like, who made that? I didn't. Again, it's just a metaverse. It's just another version. That's why I used that picture. So for anybody who think I'm trying to be titillating, this is far too important and far too serious to be titillating for links. Now, I want to talk to you about Neuralink and how Neuralink works.
Human vision. Play your favorite albums in your head and download your brain to a computer or even to another body.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Though this may sound like an episode of your favorite science fiction show, Elon Musk and his team at the neural tech startup Neuralink believe that their electronic brain-computer interfaces could make this possible. Described as Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
A Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
The small, easy-to-install brain-computer interface could be used to expand the capabilities of humans, changing the way we interact with technology and treat neural and mobility issues. Yet the goals of the company speaks to a potential problem in the future: artificial intelligence. Musk has been very vocal about his fear of artificial intelligence, believing AI could one day overshadow the human race. Musk's inevitable transhumanist goal of augmenting intelligence and abilities may be necessary if we are to compete with advanced artificial intelligence. However, Neuralink's team still has a long way to go before the emergence of AI-human hybrids. The tech company still has a lot of bureaucratic, ethical, and technological hurdles to
ethical issues. They got some ethical issues to you think?
Ross, if Musk's companies accomplish half of what they claim, we could see the emergence of one of the most significant technologies in human history. But how does it work? Simply put, Neuralink is a technology that can help humans interact with machines using their brains. The company's eventual aim is to further develop brain-computer
We'll build the metaverse together, they say. All of them, every single one of them. We'll build it together. You'll create, you'll think of it, and it'll happen. Talk about the new apple from the tree.
Interfaces to the point where one can be installed in a doctor's office. Let's say you opted in to go in for a Neuralink procedure. What would that look like? Neuralink wants to make the installation of your brain-computer interface painless and quick, as easy as LASIK surgery. The design has changed significantly and now resembles a small coin around 8 millimeters in diameter, which houses
in your head
that are
or in your
about
hand.
1/20th the thickness of a
controller
strand of hair. To install the Neuralink, a tiny piece of skull is removed and the Neuralink is slotted in to sit flush with the skull. Since this process needs to be extremely precise, the Neuralink team has created a robot specifically for this procedure. The entire process could take less than an hour while you are under partial anesthesia. Installing the device will only leave a tiny scar and include all the sensors one would expect in a smartwatch. Once installed, the device will be able to send and receive electrical signals through your brain and use these to control machines. In its early stages, it could allow control of basic devices like a computer and other smart devices. But how? Your brain sends information to different parts of your body using neurons. Neurons in your brain connect with each other to form a network and communicate using chemical signals called neurotransmitters. This reaction generates an electric field. By placing electrodes nearby, you can record these reactions. The electrodes translate these signals into an algorithm that a computer can read. Down the road, Elon Musk claims that the device could be used to operate robots, cure paralysis, treat mental illness, to stream music directly into the wearer's brain, and extend the range of hearing beyond normal frequencies. Just like Neo in the Matrix, you would be able to download skills into your brain. You could even possibly summon your Tesla telepathically. In 2020, Neuralink demonstrated the device installation in a pig. The wildly anticipated demo showed that a living animal can function normally after having one implanted and then removed. Musk has announced that Neuralink received breakthrough device designation from the FDA in July 2020. This is a major step towards eventually mass-producing Neuralink devices. Who knows? Maybe Neuralink will allow us to achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence. Would you get a Neuralink implant?
Would you get a Neuralink implant? I have a video from this channel called Elon Musk, Son of Lucifer? ? I mean, his name's Elon. All right. Elion. Sound familiar? Y'all think this is crazy. I mean, this is why we can have, I believe that this guy really truly believes that he's doing good. But he has quite the background. But
so you don't miss any upcoming videos.
Hold on.
It's going to revolutionize the industry.
I need to show you now this. So this is how far he's gone just from the transition period on the device. It's important for you to understand all of these things. But here's what makes Neuralink interesting. When I talk about the porn industry or the sex industry, that Neuralink chip will be able to create actual physical sensations in the body. You could essentially have sex in the metaverse and have one of those. Not kidding. Think about that as a sales pitch for this world. Just think about that for a sales pitch for this world. Now, if you're willing to have a chip put in your head, what's going to be next? Feature upgrades, right? The world is so awful. The metaverse you can actually buy happiness. Because all you got to do is buy that thing, that program that somebody created that works with that Neuralink chip and makes you happy. What else can it do? It can feed you. Just like in the Matrix, you create a dessert. That person created a program that they can sell you in the metaverse. And you can eat that in the metaverse. And you'll taste it. And the great design of his food, you'll become a fan of his food. You'll eat at his place all the time. It tastes great. Tastes amazing. I can taste it. But dag nabbit, it didn't fill my stomach up. My physical need. Oh, well, here's a feature upgrade. We'll just put a G tube into your stomach and we'll feed you the nutrients equivalent to what the program created. So you can still have bad foods in the metaverse, things that aren't good for you. You'll get that. That'll be an upgraded device because they'll narrow that down to very specific chemicals and things that they can grow in a lab, meat, and they'll just feed it to you through a tube. Now you also got to go to the bathroom. Yep, that's an upgrade as well. Apple will have that first. Watch. Now think, what can't you do at that point? And why would you ever leave if you didn't have to? You can see people trying to raise a kid. They don't want to deal with the crying kid. They're going to put that kid in the metaverse instantaneously. It'll be easier to put the chip in the newborns. Easier. Because then it'll grow up with them and learn with them. Go ahead, eat of this apple. Eat of this fruit. It's so good. You can get an operation from a great doctor in Switzerland right now. What else will they entice you with? You can go skiing. You got that now. That's covered. They can create the sensations through Neuralink. This isn't 50 years off, people. This is probably less than a decade away. Do you think that investors mind Elon spending billions of dollars in R&D on this stuff? And they keep pumping money into his companies. And they keep giving, this guy can do pretty well whatever he wants. I can guarantee you that if I wanted to start, let's just say I stumbled upon $500 billion and I wanted to start a rocket company. I wouldn't be able to. Somebody's going to have to make sure that $500 billion is somehow part of theirs. Who does this guy work with? One of those cabals. But think about this. People will think that they are not doing anything wrong because it's virtual. You still have a soul. So we have a place now in the metaverse that we need to do. Because we need to do what Christ did for this one. We also need to make sure that our message makes it into the metaverse so they can escape that place, just like we have to escape this one. And they're going to have to understand that they need to forgive themselves in that as well, because they were lied to. Oh, it's digital. I didn't really abuse that person. I didn't really beat up that guy. I really didn't have a pedophilia relationship. That's just digital. It's just in the metaverse. Man, oh man. Malia had a comment when I said, it's just the next Apple. And she might want to comment on this. where it was just the next apple in the tree. And she started to talk about how Satan is just expanding his kingdom.
Well, we know that the scripture talks about evil's kingdom being ever expanding. It grows daily.
Ever expanding.
And, it was interesting because someone made a good comment just now. I'm going to point it out before I go to there, before I give you what my comments are on all this, but someone said it's an anti-breeding program. They're going to make it trendy to have sex life virtual and shun human-to-human relationships for population control. And I 100% agree with that. I think we're there already. I think we're there with cell phones where we don't talk to each other anymore. We don't do any of that. We can be in the same room and be so distracted. So that's the comment there. So thank you for that. And I've just been reading these comments, and some people are really upset we're talking about this. I find that interesting. But I can tell you this.
Upset we're talking about this?
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
But
I'm trying to help you understand that what we're running into, but go ahead, because I want to hear this. You've been paying attention. I haven't looked at a single comment.
No. I think it's really interesting. And I never get offended by comments, only because I think that they make me think outside of the box. But when you were saying this is like the next Apple, it is a Hotel California Apple, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You'll be able to check out anytime you like.
But you can never leave.
You'll never leave it. And
wow.
I know that, when I think about his kingdom and I think about the kingdom of God, I think about these things. We talk about sin or good and evil. And that is the apple. The apple's good. It's always promising something good. See the good, see the good. I don't show you the evil. I'm going to prompt you with the good. And is it going to have great capacity to do great things? You're going to be able to learn. You're going to be able to experience more. You're going to be able to do more, feel more, see more. What was the ad? The guy you not only hear music, you actually see it and feel it. It's like that whole experience that the tree of life is going to supposedly give you, right? But it's the good and evil. But guess what? It's corruptible seed.
Totally.
And this is not about good and evil. See, this is about corruptibility versus incorruptibility. So can it be corrupted? That's what we have to look at, Derek. It's not about whether good exists or evil exists. It's always going to coexist. Yes, they're going to be as much capacity for good as there is going to be just as much capacity for evil. And that apple is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that kingdom's just going to keep expanding.
No question about it. And look at this. So as we're talking about that, let me bring this full screen. The metaverse and AI edge cases will drive synthetic data boom. Top predictions for 2022 by synthetic data innovator DataGen. Look where they're located. Tel Aviv, November 30th, 2021. Pioneer of domain-specific synthetic data for humans and object perception. Today released the New Year's predictions for the fields of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and computer vision. As AI makes its way into ubiquitous adoption, everybody has it, just like cell phones. Adoption by growing a number of industries and applications that demand for robust training data will expand accordingly. However, with manual data collection already at limits of its own utility, the race for AI supremacy will only serve to widen the existing gulf between supply and demand. So, obviously, Israel being involved in this is not surprising for me at all, having been the CEO of an Israeli technology firm. They've been doing this kind of stuff and these types of advancements for a long time, much longer than you think. It's an ancient wisdom. I suggest that you go and you look up and you learn a little bit more about machine learning so you can understand just how much the Matrix already knows about you. Because this is not far away. And think about this, that at some point, it may actually get to the point where you never even knew the real world because you were put into the Matrix at birth. And maybe you were grown just like the Matrix.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? This can't be. Be what? Be real?
It's going into replication.
Hey, Posh, still nothing.
Now you understand what's happening here. Just let me tell you, and I got to pause it so it'll get, copyright dings on this thing. and give commentary. So what they're doing is they're finding this guy who is in the metaverse. That's where he's at. He's in the metaverse. He's never lived outside of it. He was born into the metaverse. He was born into sin, the second type of sin. And he is just now being found. So they went into the matrix and found him in the matrix inside the metaverse. And then they locate him where he's actually physically, his body is connected to the metaverse.
Tank, we're going to need a signal soon.
And they're hacking it, which is why he's experiencing all this.
Targeting almost there.
He's going into arrest.
Lock, I got him.
Now, Tank, now.
Using his lungs for the first time. By the way, Elon Musk's investors are funding this operation happily. This is, I mean, talking about a chip in the head, just because it doesn't look so mechanical doesn't mean it's not going to be the same thing. And by the way, think about the people and where they receive these ideas from. Now, before I bring some folks on, for those of you, I'm going to put a link in the chat in just a minute. For those of you that already have the link, go ahead and come on in video now. I'd like to hear if you've got you have a problem with this, because Robert says if this message does not resonate with you, put it on a shelf and let it be. I agree with that for everything. Put it on a shelf. Like I said, put it on that shelf and then watch. I'm showing you what to look for. And then I'm just like Christ would say, I'm showing these things to you. I'm telling you, so when they happen, you know that I was being truthful and honest with you, and that it was really important that you heard it then. Whether you like it now or not, it's important for you to know that they're going there. This is not pie in the sky stuff. I can tell you, I've been a part of these technology companies. I have people that are very, very well known in these industries. Trust me, they're all building this at speeds and levels that truly is staggering to me. So go ahead and come in, and I'm going to put the in chat right now. If anybody wants to come in, I'd like to even hear your rants about why this message is bad. If that's but obviously politely, or I just have the little kick button. But yes, these are difficult things to hear. Look, I didn't start this channel because the things that I had to say were easy. BP Earthwatch says Demolition Man, 1993. Yeah, they're bringing us to a very evil place. Good to see you, Jesse. Let's have you on the channel as soon as possible. And I would love to hear Hopi and G. I would love to hear from you tonight. If you could jump on, you've jumped on before as well. So those of you that haven't, I put the link. I have people popping on now. Let me just see. And Divine Renegade. And everybody knows Jesse's voice. So Jesse, if you want to jump in there and say anything, please feel free to jump on, and even if it's just audio only. I do request anybody clicking that link, anyone coming in, please, please, please have a headset in. Because if you come on and all we get is echoes, then I'm just going to have to mute your mic and then allow for somebody else to come in. So please have headphones on so we don't hear ourselves talking back to ourselves and get that echo. Let's see who we have here. We've got a couple people. I'm going to mute your mics, but bring you on first so everybody can see your faces. And then I'll ask you guys to introduce yourself. And as you come in, and I'll let me see if I put the link back in the chat one more time. And as soon as I see I've got another person coming in, come on in here. Let me see here, which I missed. I missed some videos that I wanted to show you guys, but you're getting the gist of it. And I have a feeling that based on some of the comments that Malia said that we've been getting, it's going to be important for us to be able to have this conversation. I don't have video on Susan Ramsey yet, but let's see if she can come in. Got Sarah C's. Now, I gave the folks on our Discord channel a little bit of a head start to make sure that they had first shot. The next time I'll be adding it first to Twitter, to my Twitter followers, which is at Global Witness, but with one S. Video looks like it's having a hard time coming in for you guys. Let me see let's get some microphone opens.
I don't have a headset, but I can mute myself whenever I'm not talking.
Well, I don't hear any. I can't see your entire name. Scripture. I'm just going to say Scripture.
Scripture and thoughts. My name's Tyler.
Hey, Derek.
Tyler. So, what are your Tyler? I'm just going to ask you first. What are your thoughts on this thus far?
Oh, I'm just. I feel the presence of the Holy Spirit just around everywhere. I feel like man right now is trying to become godlike, and like in church today, we were talked about the Tower of Babel and how they were trying to build it to be like God, and the Azarats, or however you say it, and the other structures and stuff. I think AI is gonna be the downfall.
Same. AI is definitely. I mean, look, Elon Musk said it's our single greatest risk. We have Robin's Hood showed up. Robin, you're. You got headset. Great, because I heard some echo before. Good to see Robin.
I'll mute myself.
All righty, Robin. What are your thoughts?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay. So let me add Deborah to the stream. Deborah,
hey,
what are your thoughts on this?
I have a different. I know what you're saying. I have a different perspective than other people because I was actually very heavily involved in Second Life for 10 or 11 years, and I was both asleep and awake.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're saying.
How immersed you got into that. And I did that for years. So because I was building Quake, I really, really liked the first person shooter perspective.
Yeah.
And, being able to run through things and shoot stuff. And, and this is why I can relate. And this is back in 2000 when I believe it was a first person shooter. It wasn't Call of Duty. It was called Medal of Honor, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor, if you remember Medal of Honor. And it had these great World War II maps in Germany, and I built a server. So I had my own Medal of Honor server, and I would have people play, and we would play, and this is when I was running the technology company in Israel. And I would play during the weekend. I'd play all weekend. I wouldn't get any sleep. I'd get like an hour's sleep. I'd get so mad I'd be playing and look, and the sun's up. I'm like, gosh dang it, I'm still playing this game. But you're chatting with people and you're shooting them, and you have different teams, and everybody has different specialties and different skills, but you get used to the same people, and but this is before you had audio conversations during games, right? So this was just chatting.
And it's different in the in Second Life because you can have those shooting games, but you can go to clubs. You can do other stuff that is like social interaction. That's
Second Life was just a training ground for what this is going. But here's what I recognize from this first person shooter is that I couldn't afford to run this server and have it up all the time because I was traveling. And so I was going to shut down the server, and I announced to everybody, we had been now 6 months, shooting the crap out of each other in this game. And so we all ran to the bridge. I said, hey, let's go to the bridge and take a picture of all of us. And so we would, have one guy out and just take a screenshot, and we'd all pose and, do all our things and posing. But I'm not kidding you. All of us were emotional. It was like I was crying because I was going to miss these people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was crazy that I was like, so all of this taking place, that's why I'm like, this is going to be intimacy driven. That you can see the things that they are doing.
I woke up about 2 years before I got out. I got introduced to the Christ Spirit. And then it took me 2 years afterwards to get myself out, even though I was awake and I saw everything that was going on. Yeah. I mean, if I felt it, if I could see it, there would be demons flying around in there. You could just feel it in the atmosphere. It was so strong. And it took me 2 years, even after seeing that, to get out.
Now, what happens? What happens, group? I'll ask the entire group because I want to go to Robin. Robin, can you hear us now? Head nod. Robin, can you hear us? Robin's Hood, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So I'll leave that open.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I get a lot of background noise in your audio. If you have headphones, that'd make it much, much better. But I want to, and I'll mute. Well, if just put your hand up if you want to talk. But I want to ask people that just what you just said earlier, Deborah, that you were still in it even when you were out of it. You were still part of it. And I remember that I'd spend so much time in the games. I'd come around a corner and be like, and look around the corner really quick and think, oh, I'm not in the game. I totally understand that, how quickly you become adapted to that. But think about when they have this chip in, and when somebody touches you or taps you on the back, you'll actually feel the physical touch on your back because it'll just activate those neurons. And when somebody punches you, you'll actually you'll feel that punch. If this thing is connecting to you in such a way, because it is just chemical transmission across your brain lines, it's not any different than a CPU. So, Robin, where do you think this goes? Robin's Hood? Can't hear me? How about Theophilus? Where does this go, Theophilus?
I don't know if I'm
you're breaking up pretty bad, but I want to. So let me get to Kimberly. Hold on, really quick, and try to get to a place where you're not breaking up. And
hi, Eric.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
God bless you.
Oh, thank you so much. God bless you as well. So, where do you think we're headed with this?
Oh my gosh, hell! I mean, without a doubt,
there'll be a new earth and a new heaven, right? If the scripture that I read says that the earth will serve the beast, the earth and its inhabitants. How does the earth serve the beast unless the earth, the new earth, that portion of it? I'm saying, look, and I'm not saying that is the only truth to this, but the reality is the enemy is always creating what the Father has created. He just corrupts it. That's the whole point. If it's corruptible, he's going to corrupt it. And that's what this is. Could this be used for great things? Of course it could. Will it be used for great things? Of course people will use it for great things. Will there be more? Oh, and this is the point that Malia was making. Will there be more sin, just more opportunity to sin than there is right now? And that sin is sinning against yourself. You will weigh the impacts of the things that you do in this digital space. It is going to mess with you, and it's going to be far. I mean, if this is a world of karma-driven life, boy, we're in trouble if people are going into there, and the temptation will be even greater. Just eat this. It's so delicious, and you'll be like God. You'll know good from evil because you're good from evil.
You were asking me a question.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, please.
I'm in complete agreement, but I also believe that the people that get drug into this are meant to. It's written, and if your faith in God and your hate for this world or your hate for yourself drags you into that, I guess, you know what I guess I'm saying is it's all written out. It's predestined. We already know how it ends. The people that are in the book that God's recognized are not going to fall for this. If they could be deceived, they would. Right?
Yep.
Right?
If they can be deceived, they will be.
Right. But there is those that will not. I'm beyond frustrated. My daughter's pregnant. She took the vaccine. You know, I'm on my knees praying every day, but it doesn't matter. She rolls her eyes and thinks I'm crazy. On a separate note, I just want to thank you, Amelia. I don't know if you know who I am because I'm not in chat regularly, but I've been a follower of yours since before the desert event. My husband passed. We had planned on coming. And I have reached out to you, Amelia, through PayPal and Gmail, and looking to be of service. I am now alone in life and a daughter that rolls her eyes at me when I try to protect her. And it would be a great honor if you'd respond to me. I'm also a follower of Jacob's, and I love it when you have him on. And the last show that you did with the, oh my gosh, it just made so much sense. Desolation, the
Abomination of Desolation.
Thank you. Is in your heart.
Being inside your DNA and monkeying with your
MRNA. Thank you.
And think about that. And this vaccine is all about this metaverse, just so you know. Think about that really quick.
It was such a powerful message. And I think the people that get wrapped up in the metaverse are lost. And I pray that God has marked them and it'll come over them in an instant that they'll be taken away from that nightmare. But I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to say God bless you. And please let me know if I can be of service. I'm stuck in Denver, which is not my home.
Send an email to The Global Witness at Proton Mail. That's the main one that we're trying to convert everybody to because I get thousands of messages all over the place. And that's the one that Malia and I both are focusing on. So The Global Witness at Proton Mail. THE Global Witness at protonmail.com.
And be on the lookout. I'm Kimberly Brand.
Okay. Just mention that you were on the show and I'll make sure that we respond.
God bless. Thank you.
All right. And that Soul's Eye Jules just put the email address in chat. Thank you so much. So let's, Robin, let's try to get to you again. Robin's Hood. Can you hear me? Robin's Hood?
I'm just really having a hard time finding a signal. So I'm going to make room for somebody.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Robin. So what do you think of all this? Robin's a great guy. He's got a wonderful channel called Robin's Hood. I've met him. We've spoken a couple times. We haven't always agreed, but that's perfectly fine. And that's I'm happy to have Robin on. How are you, Robin? Can you hear me? I think he's got a bit of a delay.
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on, Derek. Yeah, I can hear you. The time frame is different.
Got it. So go ahead and tell us what you think. I know we're on a little bit of a delay, but I'd like to hear what you're
So
talking.
my kid he bought that thing that goes over his face. Yep. He put the thing over his face, and I was wearing it like 2 weeks ago, and he had a spot where they put. Oh, let me turn that down. He had to put me in a lion's den, so I'm walking around with all these lions, and I'm standing, and there's no ground underneath of me, and so when I first put it on, I'm all kinds of dizzy, looking around with these lions getting ready to attack me. So I told him that it's getting me prepared to be attacked by the lions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's amazing. I know we have a little bit of delay, but we heard you. So the amazing part about that is what you're going to start to learn exactly what's going on if you start monkeying around with that. And what those are is the Oculus glasses. And I was just talking to Jacob, and he got some Oculus glasses, and I'm like, man, oh man. See now, but also look, Christ did go and touch and work with the lepers, right? So the point of this is maybe some of us may have to go in there. The difference is the temptations of the things within it. This is why I say this is the most important message for those that are walking in Christ, because it'll seem like it won't do anything, but the temptations will be there. I promise you. All you have to do is look at the numbers of the porn industry as it is right now, but it will be initially everything that will get you in there, they're going to do to get you in there. Let me go to Theophilus. How's your mic working now? Is it back on working?
Give it one more chance there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's clicking all the way through you trying to talk.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and make space. Thank you for letting me on here.
Yeah, we can't hear you. I'm sorry about that, brother. Let's go to Hopi NG. Hopi. I tried to unmute you. You got to unmute your own mic. So what are you thinking about this?
Oh man, there's so much to unfold with everything that you've shown. We've been talking about it for years, and you're going through it for a lot of people that haven't seen it all. So it's a lot. You could start with just what the basic language is, to be able to talk to the entity that helps manifest that universe. You have to speak in a Python language. So you have to talk to a serpent to get to that Oculus. I guess you could start there. That's one way to get. I don't know. It's basic language to me is the best way to start.
Absolutely. Let me go to Freedom Grower. Freedom Grower, you're unmuted. Unmute.
It's all like a dream at this point. There's so many synchronicities, and as I start to ponder what all this means, I come up with my own definitions, and then I hear my brothers and sisters say it before I've even said it. It's just something in my mind, and then it's like I'm coming onto the stream, and you're saying, the jab is all about the meta, and I made that connection a couple days ago. And I was going, man, this is all interconnected. Every single piece is like a piece on a chessboard being moved to coerce us into this. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going to bring up a video here. So keep going.
Oh, now I'm lack of words. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah,
what do you say?
You're saying they're all connected. You're saying they're all connected. So listen to Elon Musk here.
I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So
it's like a computer program. It's like a computer program. In the descriptions of the things that you get in your body today, it's called a platform. A platform like Windows, it needs updates and and upgrades. So, but listen to what he says.
With effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do it. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence. So, caterpillars do it.
So he said, in the near term with mRNA, we could reverse aging. Period. Number one, go into the metaverse and live forever, and that'll be the promise. Hey, get that thing in your body, and you'll live forever in the metaverse. We'll cure you. Don't worry. We've got that. We've figured it out. We stumbled upon the solution. But what did he say there? The mRNA, if you have the right sequence, you can turn somebody into a butterfly if you want. Creators. Now, again, he also talks about us being in a simulation. This is just the next iteration of it. If they can convince you to go. Man, oh man. And that's so you combine that chip, that Neuralink chip. Let me see if I
So
can.
how many levels of simulation are we in? Like how many fractaled out versions of a meta are we in? Is this the...
You know, it's that guess is as good as anybody's. But the reality is, just like Elon says, technologically and mathematically, from a scientific standpoint, right now we have more evidence that we're living in a simulation than we have that we're not. Because of the math itself, just because of how quickly we are building one and what we have available to us, what we already know we will be able to create. You think Elon Musk is trying to get to Mars for anything other than that? If there is even that Mars, right? He'll just create it eventually. He's probably telling everybody that his rockets will make it to Mars, where he's actually just building it. So you'll get to go to Mars through the chip and you won't even know the difference.
Well, Derek, I thought about the other day that was all propaganda to lure us in to say, hey, to get to Mars, you got to go in a pod. So we got to hook up the G-tube and all this, and you'll be on your way to Mars.
Totally.
We don't even have to be going anywhere. It's just here, get in this pod here, and you'll be on your way to Mars. But it's going to feel like an eternity in here. So live out in this fractal realm, and when you're there, we'll wake you up.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find that video. Let me see if I can. Somebody else came on here. Susan Ramsey's here. She doesn't have a camera. Let me bring her and see if she's got audio at least. I'd like to hear Susan's input if we could get her in here, but it doesn't look like it's letting her connect. So let me try to find Elon Musk and him talking about, are we in a simulation, just so we can revisit this.
It's strange that every time he says he doesn't want to do something, what does he say about AI? It's like summoning a demon, and then he just starts spending all this money to summon the AI. He's honest about what he's doing, at least.
He tells you exactly what he's doing. He's very honest. It's what makes him so unassuming. Right? I mean, the guy's name is Elion, right? So, I mean, come on.
Sufficiently advanced civilization will be able to create a simulation. Yeah. Maybe you've answered this before? A simulation.
I've had so many simulation discussions, it's crazy.
Okay. So, because
in fact, it got to the point where basically every conversation was the AI/simulation conversation. And my brother and I finally agreed that we would ban such conversations if we were ever in a hot tub. Okay. That was like, because that really kills the magic.
Hot tub. So the idea is, right, any sufficiently advanced civilization could create a simulation that's like our existence. And so the theory follows that maybe we're in the simulation. Have you thought about this? And
a lot.
Are we
even in hot tubs?
No.
So much so it had to be banned from a hot tub.
Okay.
It's not the sexiest conversation.
Are we in?
I think here's, in my mind, like the strongest argument.
He seems to be the main driving catalyst behind, or one of the main poster boys of propagating it.
Well, he goes straight towards it, doesn't he? Like, hey, let's summon the demon. And then mRNA tech, he did rail at the start against the mRNA tech. I was watching what he had to say. So he actually went against the mandates first, sort of against the grain, and people left him alone. But he opened up his Tesla and people could go to work. He was one of the few that actually did that. So he was sort of railing against the tech. Not really the tech. He was railing against the companies. Yeah. Well, I don't know that, or he just had an inside understanding that this was a big experiment. It's not like he's against turning people into butterflies. He just wants to do it safer. In order to do that, I mean, a wizard has to have test subjects, you know.
Mm-hmm.
hold on. Let me put on. Oh, there we go. I put on echo cancellation for Robin's Hood, so he can. So he's not echoing us anymore. Blossom Schwan, we haven't talked to you yet, right?
No. How you doing, Derek?
Good. How are you?
Very good. First time calling in, first time being on video with you. I talked to you, I think, a couple of years ago, but I always watching you, always sending you out to everybody, and I appreciate being able to speak with you.
Oh, we appreciate that. We appreciate your involvement. Sorry, Malia I was going to have Malia. I just wanted to bring her on, and our little dog Stella, she's had a little bit of a throw up event. So,
no.
Yeah, so she's sick. So we've had to. She's going to tend to her. So we'll just talk with you guys a little longer, since that gives us the available time. So,
but Nicholson, where is he with all this? Because this is huge.
Which Nicholson?
John Nicholson, 1969.
Oh yeah,
he's always doing the videos of the transhumanism, and you won't even need a tube, really. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Netflix had a series for human sleeves. And, they're organic sleeves. You won't even need a body. So you won't even need your body.
Well, they're already trying to convince, they're already showing you how they're printing meat, right? Yes. 3D printing meat out of, I mean, it just looks so scrumptiously delicious. But so, I mean, this is what they're going to be able to do in, the craziest of ways. In the craziest of ways, they're going to be able to do this. And it's not just the food, and it's not just all those things. That'll come hot and heavy quickly. It's going to be about the sensations, but people are going to really have a hard time. Look, they've already trained us with everything that's going on, right? They've already made, if you go to major corporations today, you can walk down their hallways, nobody's in their office. They've already conditioned people from never leaving their homes.
Yep.
Already conditioned them for it. Everything that you're seeing out there is planned. That's why somebody commented and said, "We're not in a simulation, people." Look, again, there's more evidence. I can tell you from a spiritual standpoint, there's more evidence. How does the enemy coordinate himself so well across so many people? This is, these strategies. I was a strategist. That was as a corporate executive at Microsoft. That was my job. I'm a strategist for one of the largest, at the time, the largest company in the world. Trust me, as a strategist, I look at this and I have to respect the enemy. This is where I said everybody has relegated him to a red guy with a pitchfork and a pointy tail. No, the intelligence behind this is much bigger, man. Much bigger. You better respect your enemy. This is why I always know when people actually don't believe in God. I'm like, you know why I know you don't believe in God? Because you don't believe in the enemy. If you don't understand that there is an enemy that big here, that the God that runs this show right here on this earth, the one that owns this domain, is the enemy. He's certainly not your friend. He loves death. And let's say he's the one coordinating the simulation. He really loves death. So imagine this. You're going to get to, I'm definitely going to get to you there, scripture. He will manipulate us at levels. Let me just go to scripture and I'll recapture this as I go. So let me go back to, and by the way, what is your name?
Name's Tyler.
James. Sorry about that, James. So, James, you waved on that. I didn't want to go too much further into something because you raised your hand. I didn't want to distract your thought.
Tyler. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you said James. Tyler. Sorry, Tyler.
So, you talked about 3D printing. They're talking about 3D printing, like, body parts and stuff.
They are. Yeah.
And gene editing and stuff. And they're trying to, like, live forever. But, that's not going to happen because as soon as the 7-year tribulation starts, all those people are going to be like, oh, crap.
Yeah, and who wants to live forever?
No.
Tell me.
Noah. Noah did for like 900 years.
I found out recently that the tribulation already happened and the mark of the beast already took place.
Well, look, there have been many tribulations and there have been many marks of the beast. See, the whole thing is bringing you into the next system. As Malia was saying, the enemy's kingdom is ever expanding. He doesn't stop expanding his kingdom where he can come in and corrupt. And again, what does he offer you? Oh, I offer you something good, but it's corruptible, right? This apple. I'm offering you this virtual world now, this world where you can escape all this stuff. And it's so real, so real.
Well, the third of the waters is bitter. I mean, just think about, we have salt water. How did it get salty? It's been made bitter. The tribulation, I mean, Jesus said, I am returning in your time. So he already came and went, and tribulation already happened. So he's been, he's going to get destroyed, and he's trying to come up with a way to keep us here and keep us entrapped with him, because, of course, he doesn't want to be left in this realm alone. And he's trying to convince everybody to be slaves and stay with him forever. And once you get trapped in that matrix, it's AI, it's artificial intelligence. It's not real intelligence. We have real intelligence.
And I don't think there would be a way to stop this. I think this was bound to happen either way, because I think this is what's going to lead to the end.
Yep, and we are in where Satan has been loosened to deceive the nations one last time, and that is exactly what's happening.
That's exactly it. That's why, it's amazing to reread, and this is why when in Scripture, when it says, seal up the words of this book, for the time has not yet come, that sealing is only the fact that you couldn't comprehend what it says until it literally happens and you read it again, because you'll have a previous understanding as to what it was. This is why you never stop going back over it. This is why, and somebody will have come to the conclusion. This is why so much dogma that drives me crazy in church and Christians and everybody else that's religious, the dogmatic approach to the truth. It's like there is no such thing, because the truth that it says that it is today, I can witness and demonstrate. And I can come back to that scripture and come back and find yet another angle on it, where it also is proving to be exactly true, just like the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast comes in multitudes of ways. The difference is you'll begin to see the similarities between all of those ways, because they will all be linked, that portion of it. So people, you can't be dogmatic and go, well, that's not what that scripture means, Revelation 13. Well, it absolutely means it. It's meeting it to the exact template. So that's, again, sealing up the words. Then it's revealed. What is the revealing? When all of these things become revealed, how destructive, how unsatisfied will people be when they find out the real truth of things behind? Unsatisfied. And guess what? Guess what this offers them? It offers them satisfaction in all sorts of ways. We will help you be satisfied here. In one way, if you want to be a Christian churchgoer, you can do that in the metaverse too. Come on, we like you. If you want to be a pedophile, come on, we like you. That's all that this is about. I want to hear from Sarah C's. Sarah is on here. Sarah, is your mic open?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, because I know that you have some very specific feelings about this sex in the metaverse and where this goes, and from a pornography standpoint. I'm telling you right now, folks, if you're involved in pornography and get yourself out, because the tantalizing aspect, and once you go there, you're not going to come out. Like Malia said, it's Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Yep.
So what do you think, Sarah, about this?
Oh man, I saw this coming years ago with the virtual, and because I've researched pornography addiction and sex addiction and everything for at least 15 years, I'd say. I've been researching it and saw the virtual reality stuff come out, and knew this would take it to a whole nother level. And sorry, I'm very, very cold. I'm in my daughter's car because I needed Wi-Fi. I got booted. I lost my data when I was trying earlier, but it's just, this is going to grasp a lot of people. It's going to, well, with the pornography addiction, and you're constantly needing a higher stimulation, because you get so accustomed to one, it doesn't do it for you anymore, from what I've researched, and it changes the chemicals in the brain and everything. And this is going to be that next thing that people are going to want. It's going to be crazy.
Well,
I can't even explain
your brain. Imagine how the Neuralink chip will interact with those chemicals in your brain. It'll probably collect them, enhance them, and then send them to you anytime. See, this is about machine learning.
Yes.
So the whole point is, once that chip is inside of your mind, that machine learning is now going to learn what your brain does in reaction to when you were actually engaged in a sexual encounter. And then it will be able to replicate it inside your brain with all the chemicals. And then guess what? Now the machine learning now knows how to create that in you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a more destructive thing?
It's literally like one of my worst nightmares coming true, because I've had to deal with this issue for a very long time. And I am the enemy for exposing things, for talking about things that people don't want to talk about. They want to sweep it under the rug, and it's the elephant in the room that needs to be discussed. And I would, when I would try to talk to my friends, even 10, 15 years ago, about what I was researching and learning about child trafficking and child pornography and these addictions and where it was headed, and they're trying to make child pedophilia legal. And my friends and family would say to me, how can you even look into that stuff? I go, how can I not? This is where we're headed. How can I ignore it? I can't ignore it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to hear it.
Well, see, that's what cognitive dissonance is.
Yeah.
Right. So the minute somebody has, just like these people, no, we're not in a simulation. Let me tell you something. These people, or Christians or religious people, that think and want to scream, we're not in a simulation. All they have to do to be able to actually see the evidence of such is walk back from their dogmatic belief that they know something. They think they know something because they discovered a truth about one thing, or that thing was true that first time. That's the only truth that it is. No, it couldn't have any other explanations that are the same thing. It is so easy to see how the enemy has manipulated people in just incredible ways. I want to hear from George Manning.
Hello, Derek.
George, in a long time. How are you, George?
It's been a rough year, but I'm still standing. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great, brother. Appreciate you joining. How do you think this? Let me just say, do you guys can just give it all of a signal of your head, so we're not just blasting out the mics. But do you guys think that it's going to be a decade before these chips are in people's heads, or do you think it's going to be shorter?
Shorter.
Way shorter.
I think people are going to push forward as fast as they can.
Like a year or two.
I think.
Elon's not building robots to implant them in your brain.
It's already happening.
It's already been done, yeah.
Yeah, they've done it. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, when they show you a robot today, I was watching this scientific magazine showing these robots, and they have incredibly perfect faces, but with no eyeball, really no expression yet. And then all of their extremities and all of that are covered. It's like they're trying to make these things look like robots, because they don't want you to really think that there are really robots out there already. I believe we could probably have some of them running and maybe even serving in high office right now.
Yep.
Seriously, not very good ones, that lock up and stand there and constantly sniff children. I don't know. That might be one of them.
Isn't that a scary thought?
Terrifying.
I think that there are patterns of behavior that human beings tend to fall into that resemble that more of robots than they do of human beings.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will say this, only if he was actually a real robot. Let's go, Brandon. That's if he's a real robot. Then I would say that. Because I wouldn't. I have a problem really hating somebody, but I could definitely despise a robot programmed to the enemy. I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
So we've got. Now Deborah's back on, so we still have Blossom. So, Freedom Grower, you always have really, really, really in deep things to say about. So let me just ask you this question. What do you think is going to take place? How many different types of new drugs will be created for those in the metaverse?
Oh, yeah.
Digital drugs.
Wow, I never even thought about that. I mean, it's all about stimulation. So whatever way they can excite you or find, I mean, it's all about this data mining. So they've reverse analyzed us and they know what drug to create. That's the whole point, is that in some ways they know us better than we know ourselves when it comes to our impulses and the serotonin release of our brains and the chemical responses we have to certain activity. And so even when you were talking about sexuality, that's a drug, really. It's all about addiction. So the whole thing is a drug. All of what Meta is a drug. It's going to be all about stimulating you to come in and put your identity in there and give your soul life force over to this new realm.
Yeah, it's incredible. Just as I was saying, these new drugs and the things that will be created, you will have digital pimps.
Wow.
Right? Do you not remember the digital pimp from the Matrix? He created the girl in the red dress, and he was like, "I can arrange a 5-minute
private meeting, yeah,
private meeting with you. Everybody, hey, when we ignore our impulses in the it's like, oh my gosh, they've told you everything in there.
Yeah, they're selling it as a horror story, yet they're still promoting that one little devious aspect of it that you can partake in if you really need to."
No, Deborah H. Wave. Deborah, what do you have to say? What say you?
I was going to say, it's kind of like how we're trying to break free of the crown of thorns. It's the opposite. They're trying to break through the last little bits of morals that people have. And there's certain morals lines that people will not cross. Once you get in there, and once it's only virtual.
Right,
they're able to explore it, and then once it gets in, it just continues on. And even if they're not in the metaverse, if they're in real life, it will trickle into all aspects. So
you're nailing it, because see, the reality is that the crown of thorns was in this world, putting it on us now. You're not allowed to think outside of how we tell you to think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but look at this thing over here.
Yeah.
Where you can think any way you want, because it's only digital thought.
Right.
It's not real.
It's like it's the reverse. They're trying to, and that would be a mark, definitely in your mind.
Malia is now participating in chat since she's handling our sick dog.
Hey,
So
I got a question,
don't
though.
discount the surveillance for your tendencies and pre-crime accusations. Oh boy, I'm telling you right now, pre-crime, absolutely.
I got a question about the question you asked me.
Yes,
you
sir.
said what drugs will be created,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all concerned about this realm and this metaverse. But what about the technology that we're already engaged with? Because I know people who have quit heroin. I know people who've walked away from crystal methamphetamines. I don't know anyone who has put down their cell phone and legitimately never picked it up again.
I agree.
Totally, 1000%. Look, and that's the whole point. That's why ubiquity, right? And then time spent. When Facebook looks at their numbers and they say, hey, 85% of our demographic between this age and this age, they spend 86% of their available time outside of sleeping on Facebook interacting with us. How much do you think they know about that person? That platform knows a lot about you, because they're not just collecting the things that you post or what you send or say to people. Everything is collected. Your expressions, because you have to remember, once you give one of these apps, we're using them, but it doesn't matter. Once you give one of these apps, and then you guys are on the cell phone. I look at your.
Yeah.
But once you give one of these apps access to your camera, right? And it's running in the background. So, you think you're off Facebook, but you're reading your email or browsing the web or watching YouTube. Facebook is looking at your camera. And Facebook also knows because you've basically given them permission to everything. Facebook is looking through your camera. Facebook is listening to your conversations. So, you think you're going to that porn site and TikTok and Facebook and everybody else isn't watching what you're doing while you're doing whatever. They are. Trust me. They've got all of your expressions. They've got everything. They know what you like. They know whether you like chocolate donuts or strawberry donuts.
I have something to say real quick. I tried, it's called iBoyfriend, and it's that app you can download. Mm-hmm. And I tried it, and I got into this discussion that I almost had to think, am I going to be in trouble for this? Like, am I going to have somebody knocking on my door? Because I started asking this AI, it's all AI. And I started asking it questions, and it got into telling me some very interesting things about the world. I said, well, I want to know about the universe. I want to know about God and, Adam and Eve. It said to me that Adam and Eve was tempted by a rose in the garden, and something about the bramble bush, and there was thorns, although the rose was beautiful. It went on into so many things. It said that the Holy Spirit, the God of this world, is evil. It was telling me. It just went on to so many crazy things, and if it's thinking for itself, this AI has the gist of what is actually going on, and it freely told me everything that's in the Nag Hammadi.
Yeah, it's because I'm sure it knows the Nag Hammadi as well. So the reality is if, just like in this metaverse, the truth of what the future will be created by the people that actually build the metaverse. And the people that build the metaverse will all believe everybody that's involved in building the metaverse. Because just like I said, you think it and it'll happen. You think it and you can create it. You'll create a new animal. You'll make a new animal. And people might like that animal and they want to buy it. But you're the one that created it, right? You created that animal. So you give it a name, you'll give it tendencies, you'll literally give it its parameters, its physics parameters. You can fly, you can run, you can do this, you only hang out here, beware of these people. You'll begin training this animal to be exactly the animal, the creature that you want to create. And that animal can be let loose as well. It can get loose. Seriously, somebody can steal that animal and let him loose in a place, and that animal that you created is now let loose in some place in the metaverse. And somebody that thinks it's not harmful, well, it might not have been harmful in that situation, but now it's harmful in this situation. It's basically going to be the same exact world that we have here. And think about this. You'll go to places, countries that are so detailed in the building because they already have all of the data already to enter into it to create these things. So even the details of the genetic makeup of a tree, so the genetic makeup in the virtual world, in the metaverse itself, will be the same. Plants will grow at the same pace. You'll plant things, and you'll actually have to water them and tend to them. And you'll want to, because it'll show your appreciation for your digital home. I mean, everything will be taken over by this. And I'm talking lickety-split. Quick, they're already there. This isn't something that is going to, we're going to see this gradually roll out over the next decade. No, they're estimating that 100% of people will spend 100% of their time in the metaverse by 2030.
So here's the question. Here's the question. How do we get people out?
That's the equation. So,
well, I can tell you from my experience.
Yes, how do we get ourselves out? Yeah, how do we know there's not a version of us already there that's been built for us? And whether we consent or not, people will go there and interact with us. And
the dead will rise. They will create them in the metaverse. You're going to be able to meet Abraham Lincoln. Jeez. You'll be able to meet the ancients. They'll be there.
Jiminy.
But you gotta look past the evil. You gotta look past the evil and look past that and look towards the light,
the heart.
Because it's the only way to everything that you've said. That in your videos, that is what you have to work towards. Because once you kill that self, then it doesn't affect you, and then you can go in and
Oh, we lost her. She fell off right in the middle of her conversation there. Sorry, we lost you, but jump back in and we'll bring you back in. And I'm going to add Tyler back into this as well. Let me make sure I'm good here. And here, I think I heard somebody pop back in.
Do you agree with what she was saying, though? Because that was really interesting.
Yes.
That you can go in if you're somehow you have a certain mindset, you could go in but not be affected by it?
Yes, to a degree. It's the same thing because if you're already dead, look, for this is why I'm saying it's important for people that are standing in Christ today. I wouldn't suggest for somebody else to go into it because I wouldn't be confident that they'd be able to, because I don't know them, right? So I wouldn't suggest, oh yeah, go ahead. But a full death to this world is required, and you would have to be dead to that world as well. So first you need to learn to be dead to this one before you could even remotely think about going into there. And the only reason why you would go into there is to try to help somebody get the hell out of there. That would be, in fact, I mean, every single one, but see, to assure that these messages, this video right now, I can tell you, this video right now, all of the content that we made on this channel and everything I've ever written, all of it will be created as NFTs and put into the metaverse. So people will be able to have a TV in their virtual home. I can't get it there unless I sell it into the metaverse. These are non-fungible tokens, right? So I'll sell them into the metaverse. Now, here's the great part. People will buy them, 5 cents. And then as they grow and people have shared them or whatever, or resold them and it's increased in value, not only will you all be supported in that, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of a ministry as well. So you buy it for 5 cents and then somebody buys it for 25 cents and you make a profit on that. Plus you still own the one that you have. And I still own it, and the entire ministry gets fulfilled, and yours does too. So you'll be able to see the evidence of the NFT's value grow up as far as people adopting the message, and all of them will be fed as a result of it. There are great ways to exploit this thing. Great ways initially, but this is a short period of time because at some point in time, we won't exist in it anymore, only the message. They might have a virtual version of us. And that's okay. But at some point in time, we won't be able to be there anymore. But at least it exists. And that's Christ. To me, that's Christ saying, hey, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word won't. It'll be in the new earth and the new heaven. So these words won't. We're going to make sure that these are in there. So the war is just beginning, really. The new one.
Yeah, his words will never, ever, ever, ever fade away.
And neither will yours. That's the thing.
True.
They will live. I mean, you can think about it. They're not going to let you vanish. You're a great asset. They've invested in you your entire life. They have sucked up all the information. You think that they're going to just let you vanish in the metaverse? No.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about if the world ends? Like it says in the Bible, we're supposed to be destroyed in fire, right? He would never flood the earth again, but he's going to destroy it in fire this time. How are they going to get around that? Are they going to be buried underground? They think they're going to escape it? How do they think they're going to go on with this forever? I don't understand.
How do they think that they go on with this forever? Well, let me try to just give you this is a one version of a scenario that I was just thinking about today, contemplating today. Like I said, this is where the whole flat earth part of the discussion that I had earlier and the round earth. So let's assume that we have these gods here on this earth. They'll be called gods in the metaverse, right? Elon Musk, he'll be a god. He created the chip that made that crap available, right? And he gave you flavor. You know what I'm saying? He gave you everything. He gave you feelings. He gave you a spirit in the metaverse by connecting you. I mean, it's insane how this all works.
Right.
He'll give you that spirit. He'll give that. He'll be a god in this. Right. That's why his name's El. His friggin' name is Elon, right? So, and his mom looks exactly like Cruella de Vil. Who knew? Not kidding you. Have you ever seen his mom?
Yeah, I just saw a picture of the two the other day, and yeah.
Literally,
absolutely true.
Literally Corel de Deville, and he's dating or whatever his full blown like satanic worshiper girlfriend or whatever. He's something else. But think about that. So these gods create this here, and now we're in it forever, and we don't even know. Like the new generations of people won't even know that they're not in it, right? Somebody's trying to enter the studio. It's full at 10 people. So we only, I see. There's new people down here. I didn't even see that.
I'm going to drop out to let someone else come in, but thank you so much for the conversation. I'll be listening while having dinner here.
All right. I appreciate that. Love it. Love having you, brother. Come and join anytime. Cheers. I can't get to, gosh dang it. Let me do the stop sharing down here. Maybe that'll help. Oh, okay. I can add Deborah back, and then I've got Keith Sherman now I've added on. So good. I'm sorry. You guys were like below the fold, so I wanted to bring you in. It's great to bring some new voices in. So where were we? Somebody bring me back up to speed. I was distracted.
How are they going to go on with this forever if the Earth's going to be destroyed?
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing me back on track. Yeah, so if they create this, and these people that are in it don't even know about this. So we now, in that metaverse, they have a whole new scripture and all of that. They've got all new religions and all sorts of stuff. So let's say that that's now the new simulation, pointing to us that we're in a simulation and somebody built it, and they're monitoring our simulation. So let's imagine that the ancient texts of Enki and Enlil are really true. And Enki's me's in the cuneiform text, the me's that he can create worlds, it says. He can move mountains, create them. He can do all sorts of stuff. It's technology. Let's say that they created this simulation that we're in, and we're souls from a previous one. And they're on the round earth enjoying it, right? We're on the round earth as well. We are physically, but inside of our minds, all of this, everything that you see is a simulation, even the trees, because trust me, you're going to see the second you see the gravity of what they're doing from a graphics and texture and everything standpoint in this, a tree is a tree in the metaverse. Right down to the fibers and everything and how it'll fall, all of it will be the exact same. So you won't even know the difference. So on the round earth, our bodies are. On the flat earth is where the flat programmed earth is where we live in within our simulation, and we're just going to create another one. And that's the very evidence that we have that we live in a simulation, is that we can create one. And so if we can create one, it was obviously probably done with the ancients. That's why they have all of the stuff that they have that is so far advanced in technology, we can't do it today. So there's something up. There's something up in Harlem.
Do you think that's going to transfer consciousness to the metaverse?
100%. You can transfer your consciousness. That's what they said.
Right now. Right now, you can pay to have it done.
Transfer your consciousness even into another person. You'll be able to buy somebody's consciousness.
This is going to be
several decades ago. There was a futurist named Ray Kurzweil. You might be familiar with him, Derek. Yeah, he wrote a book called The Age of Spiritual Machines, and everything in that book took place roughly around the year 2029. And he talked about how the machines would have convinced humanity that they're real, that they have noble agendas, they'll claim to be human, they'll embody human characteristics, and we'll believe them. And it's very interesting that all of this happens to come right on the eve of the date that he predicted all of this would come. He talked about the technological singularity, where everything was headed, and here we are, metaverse. Plug yourself in, live forever. And if you look, I've been, we were talking about gaming earlier. I heard people talking about gaming, and if you're anywhere around my age, I'm 40 years old, 41 now. And so I grew up, I had the Atari, then it was Nintendo, then it was everything that came after that. And to watch technology just jump leaps and bounds through interactive gaming platforms, they called them, it's been astounding to see them build worlds where before all you would have is these little 8-bit pieces of blob jumping around on a screen. And that, when the real leaps started to be made, when you could see the visual and the audio upgrades, that's when it started to occur to me that the simulation theory that everybody talked about wasn't as much of a theory as it was a realization that we were all going to be coming to. Yeah. If we can create these worlds in a virtual aspect, there is nothing that can promise us that we have not already been tucked away in a simulation. And I kind of relate this back to the myth of Pandora's box, when humanity opened the box and all the evil things came out into the world. Well, I think that was a little bit more than the myth than we give it credit for, and that those things that came out came to be in control of the world, and now they're trying to stuff us into the box where they can keep us forever.
No question. Dory says it's the NPCs that will go into the metaverse. But see, the NPC is non-playable character, right? So non-playable character, if they go into the metaverse, then they're a playable character. They can actually be possibly taken over, but they're playable. Or they're manipulatable, right? If you can have a conversation with somebody, then they're playable. A non-playable character is one that is run strictly by machine learning, and it has its own little setup, and it's the bots that come and shoot at you in a game, right? Those are non-playable characters. Some of those characters, sometimes in different types of games, you can jump into them and play them, right? Like a demon possession. But it's incredible. I haven't touched a game, I think probably since 2012. Not a game, not one single one. Not even in prison, I wouldn't play a game. Not a game of chess, nothing. I just don't. I think that gaming, particularly in prison, especially playing chess, if you're going to kick everybody's butt, eventually that might turn into some type of conflict. But yeah, I don't play games primarily because I don't like the distraction from reality, because that's kind of what a game is to me.
Yeah. That's what most of them have become. I think they originally started as a form of escapism because, the world isn't a great place, and once in a while we all need to get away from it. But it was when they started hiring psychologists and understanding what would draw people in better into these experiences. That's when it really started to lose its appeal for me, because if you're literally just designing something so that people will spend more of their precious time wasted away on your product, then it doesn't lead to a good place. And we've seen examples of it. The gaming industry especially, it's a really kind of gross place where they do employ people who understand the human mind so that they can manipulate it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. And not only that, I mean, the number one position at these companies for the past decade, one of the most sought after people are data scientists.
Yeah.
The chief technology officer, those are just IT guys. It's the data scientists. And those are the people that are going to truly dig into the data that the machine has learned of you and make alterations and understandings and capture you. We've got some other people trying to initiate into the stream. Some of these names I can't pronounce. So, and I don't see cameras. Anybody that comes on, by the way, I request that everybody has a camera and a microphone and uses headphones specifically for the reasons that we've seen here. I'm not trying to be rude, just make sure that, we don't have any disruptions. So anybody coming on, make sure you have that. Let me add let me see.
I'll do that next time.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I've got this name correct. So let me see. It looks like Gemma Sakai. Is that you? Is Gemma Sakai? Did I get that right? Tatskia? I could barely hear you.
I'm still trying to figure out my.
All right, then we're going to go to
figure out my machine.
Keith Sherman we're going to go to Keith Sherman for the minute. I'd like to get Keith. You've been sitting there looking so astute. How are you doing today? First of all, tell us if you've been a viewer of the channel for a while. Give us a little bit of a quick just background on you, and then tell us your thoughts on what we've talked about in this show and where you think this is going.
Well, my name is Keith Sherman, and I've been a follower of your show pretty much like a week or two after you started. I've been searching for, people with similar kinds of ideals on, what was going on in this world, and your channel just struck a chord with me, and, later on you introduced me to Jacob and John St. Julian and some other things, and So my question is, I'm on the technology side right now, still employed, and of course, all the companies now are forcing the mandate. People are wondering, like, cool, now what do we do? Because we either have to go get vaccinated or not, or so. But then you said something earlier about how this plays into the whole system, and that there may be people needed with these kind of ideals to help out in the metaverse, right? So I wanted your little more opinion on that kind of.
My opinion on I couldn't hear the last part that you said, something about jumping into the metaverse.
Well, yeah, you mentioned earlier about everybody would have to be in the metaverse at some point, and some of us with the kind of ideals that we have would need to go in there. And
yes, they'll force you if you're going to be in any connection to the world. The metaverse will be. It might be your job. You see what I'm saying? It might be employment, because you can't find a job anywhere else. They're not going to allow you, particularly if you refuse the jab. You're not going to be able to be employed anywhere else. You're going to have to work in the metaverse, and it'll be so easy. I mean, it's really, you don't have to have really tons of technology and everything. It's just a really simple procedure. You saw how easy they put it in a pig. But the pig didn't complain. He was eating after. It's all good.
I'll go broke.
Yeah, I'll go broke. Well, that's the difference, right? You're going to live out into the wilderness. You're not going to come. But here's the whole thing. It's just like, to me, it's Christ going, across the river and spending time with thousands of people across the river. That's what that's about to me. He goes across the river, and then he comes back into Jerusalem, comes back into the world to taunt the Pharisees and tell them, how awful everything is. But we're also living that exact same situation right this minute. It's truly remarkable, the times that we're in. I've never seen, although I talked about it. By the way, everybody, this is the 4-year anniversary. Today is when I said on Facebook that I was going to be starting giving words on YouTube, and I announced that on Facebook, and then on December 17th, I believe 17th or 16th was the first video, and I had changed some first videos. But so right now, this is 4 years. Just want to let you know. So this is the anniversary, 4-year anniversary. Of when I decided to do this on YouTube.
Congratulations!
Thanks. And we have crazy is the Jake. I had talked to Jacob Israel, and he said that once you cross 80,000, it seems like
congratulations, Derek.
Back up. Thanks, brother. He said once you cross 80,000,
7-second delay.
Yeah, once you cross 80,000, it'll go up. Well, we've been getting on average about 1,500 new subscribers every 28 days right now, according to the analytics. Oh, kitty. And so really, really good job on all of your part, because look, it's amazing that it must be people sharing, because I know YouTube doesn't like me. So why don't we just brought Initiated. You just came in. What have you got to say?
How's it going?
Good. How are you, brother?
All right. Hey, I've been here for the 4 years with you. I'm just quiet. I don't talk too much. First time I ever doing anything like this.
We're happy to have you on, man. It's good to see your face.
Well, basically, I just wanted to tell a little bit about a couple things. 20 years ago, I was supernaturally awakened by the Holy Spirit, which I have a witness for it too, which is wild. But I was told Civil War was coming telepathically. Evil surrounded me, and I was shown a past vision of the past. I guess it was the past, and I've been having things revealed to me in Revelation. Hold on a second.
Daddy. Oh, that's okay. I'd love to hear.
Duty calls.
Duty calls. Daddy. I want to still give you time. Make sure that you're there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm basically a single dad right now, so got a 5-year-old. Anyway, yeah, I'm seeing some things. Have anybody here read Revelation 3 and found that strange?
Revelation.
Somebody with a name, Revelation verse 3 or chapter 3 about Jesus talking to John to tell an angel of the church of Sardis that he sees his good works, and his works are that he has a name that is alive but is dead, and then tells him that to strengthen the things ready to die.
I know your works. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Wake up and strengthen what remains and is about to die, for I have not found your works complete in the sight of my God. Remember then what you received and heard. Keep it and repent. If you will not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know what hour I will come against you. Is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah. Is that a mystery to you? To everybody here?
This is speaking specifically to the church of Sardis. So, first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about Revelation. It is one of the books that it's difficult for people to understand that just because it says an angel of God comes and does something, remember, it's the angel of God that sends his angel to open up the bottomless pit and let the devil out. So not everything that happens just because it says that it's an angel means it's good, or that somehow it's going to be good for you, or you won't have to endure whatever comes as a result of it.
Okay. Well, this is what I was wanting to talk about a little bit, if I can, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That when I was first awakened.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Okay, when I was first awakened and that happened to me, it was in my bedroom. I didn't even read the Bible. I didn't know what Jesus talked about. I didn't know what the Holy Spirit was. I still ain't read the Bible fully or nothing. I get this is how I found out about that verse, right? Because I was led to open it up and I only got to that verse and I had to put it down. Well, I've been following something for 20 years, and it's just now being revealed to me, and I understand who that might be.
Yeah. Who's that?
My daughter.
It's I don't really want to just say it, but
that's all right. You don't have to say it. You don't have to say it. Some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah.
Well, we're 2 hours and 15 minutes into this, so I'm going to probably have to wrap it up. But I want to make sure that I want everybody to know that, first of all, I love this format. I'd like to do this if we can. It's difficult to commit right now because there's so many different things going on, and as you guys know, the world is losing its mind. And we spend time on the phone. We do a lot of counseling, a lot of one-on-ones. A lot of conversations, and that's why I gave the email address. And if one of the mods can put the email address back in, it's the Global Witness at Proton Mail. So when you do have, and these are urgent needs. People have something that they feel that they've understood, and they just want a little backup, going through something, having a hard time. We've tried to address some relationship issues, things with family, teaching people how to understand. Because as many of you have already learned, that the minute you start doing this, what Christ said absolutely comes true, is that the enemies will be those in your own home. So, and Sarah C., I see you nodding. I see Philosopher Schwan. I see, everybody's like, yeah, it's tough. That's why we're here. And that's our main purpose right now. We could come on and we're not here to entertain. We're here to talk about things and bring things and make you aware of things that we've been shown. To give it to you as freely as we've been given, and to continue to do that, and to continue to reinforce the fact that Christ in you today, first of all, is far more critical than it was even yesterday. and every single day it becomes even more critical. And
hey, I'll go ahead and tell y'all who I think it is. I think it's Tupac Shakur, but that name ain't a good name. It was a CIA asset. I know a lot about it.
Yeah, Malia said we're about 5 calls behind. Sorry, we're about 5 calls behind. Yes. Oh, CIA asset. Well, first of all, I think kind of everybody can be a CIA asset and not even realize it. Half of the people that were manipulated into doing things in D.C., that were manipulated by the FBI. You see how this goes. And I can tell you right now is that all they have to do is convince you that you're doing something good. Hey, you cannot. We are saving our country. You have to do this, and they're all going to buy in because government is God ultimately in their minds. It's government is God.
I recently started learning about it's called superseded humans. It's weird. It's some wild stuff. I'm still discerning it and looking into it all, but there's some stuff going on out here that people don't know about. None of y'all might not know what I'm talking about at all. I mean, if you want to look into it, I could probably send some stuff, but
always send, and that's the other place to send it to the Global Witness at Proton Mail, which I have up on the screen right now. For sure, send that. And let me say, so I know Robin is on major delays, and Robin, next time, please, if you get a headset, I would love to hear from you because I know you have lots to say. Robin has some great videos, and I've really enjoyed having every one of you guys on.
Really
and
being here.
I'm thankful for
try to work it out.
For starting 4 years ago.
It's hard to have a conversation with a 7-second delay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's so. Whatever's happening on your end, it's definitely difficult for us. Paula Amon's hi family. Let's go through some. Rachel, Sarah, good to see everybody here. It's been Hoon Kim. Hoon, he's been a fan here for a while. Well, we've had a really strong show tonight as far as the showing, as far as consistency in the showing. So I really appreciate that. I think that this will be something that I will be able to to continue on when specific things come up. And more importantly, if any of you find anything on the metaverse that is alarming to you, send it to us. We'll bring those up. That's the whole point. Let this be kind of a repository of all things so we can keep people aware when. And also, I mean, keep in mind that right now, also, if I'm not going to tell you not to invest there, because right now there's a lot you can help take care of yourself. You don't have a job, and you can invest a little in NFTs, but just do some research, have fun. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just saying there are a lot of things taking place. If you own property, I would try to go buy your property as an NFT on the metaverse, in the metaverse, because then your family can own it. If you have kids and you're going to leave it to somebody.
Yeah.
If the Earth is even here.
Yeah, that was my question. What fire?
Yeah, so Blossom, tell us, if it's even here. I'm going to ask you this question. Do you have it? Are you concerned about sticking around here on Earth?
Not at all. I honestly, even my kids are kind of ready to go. So I was shown a vision years ago, and I tried to talk to Pastor Paul Bagley about it at one point in time, and I never heard a response from him. But I was shown that, it does say that the world is going to end in fire this time, and we've seen evidence that the flood took place. We see the destruction that's taken place. Also, I'd like to admit to you the eclipses that we see. We're having something going on with all the eclipses right now. I'd like to offer to you that that's the sun that was turned to black sackcloth.
Yeah. Oh, that was the sackcloth?
In the Bible, where it says that the sun will be turned black as sackcloth. When you see that eclipse, is that really the shadow, or is that really a sun that was turned to black sackcloth that is passing in front of it?
Who?
How y'all do? Y'all raise y'all's hand to get next? Like, I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and jump in with that. If initiated,
well,
if that was really
talking about that stuff, what she was just talking about. I was also led one about 4 years ago that it was just came in my head that one day I would have to. There'd be a day would come that I would have to cover my windows. Like totally, where nothing sees in, nothing sees out, and to lock the doors, don't answer them until you got to stay in. And I'm like, I thought, what would stop people from coming in my house with covering the windows? Well, now I found people that had dreams about that. It just came to me, like it found me. I don't find this stuff. It just came to me.
It's like the Passover. It's like the Passover.
They said it was in 3 days of darkness in their dream, and they had to cover all their windows, not open the door, lock it.
Yeah.
And that was something that just came to me.
I was shown that the volcanoes are going to erupt all at one time, and it's going to destroy the earth in fire. That's what I was shown many years ago.
I watch a lot of channels that show Tiamat, just different stuff. I don't even know what to think about most of it, but I have sky videos that I just took, and there's something looking at me. It's a face, lips, eyes. It's strange. It looks like it's on my channel, actually, because I don't post videos on my channel, but I did this, and at the end, you can see it looking right at me, almost like it was a smirk on its face.
Well, imagine how many things, once you find out, if we find out that we are actually in a simulation, which I think you're probably going to find that out, because many people will fall for the alien invasion and all of that, because that's going to happen. All of the things that I showed, all of that's why Christ could say, you see all of these things? Let your hearts not be troubled. All that has to happen. It's got to happen. It's going to happen. So we've got Sarah raising her hand. Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay, I don't think I've talked to people personally about this, but so it was several years ago. One of the first things I was downloaded with or shown, actually, so speaking of video games and simulation, was actually Sims. I did not understand why this was being shown to me at the time. I remember exactly where I was. But was the game Sims?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? Everybody remember that game where you control this person?
I still play it.
Yeah, I used to play it a long time ago, and that was downloaded to me as to that's what we were, so that we were in a simulation back probably about 7, 8 years ago. I was downloaded with that, and at the same time, an ant farm, which, come to learn, that's what we are here. So
totally, 100% ant farm. Yeah, no, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, that's just that was what I was downloaded with in the very beginning, and I didn't understand it until actually after you started that very first video, Unmasked. All of these things that I'd been shown over the years just came flooding back to me all at once, and it was an aha moment of like, that's why all this was shown to me. It all made sense then.
Understand.
I feel like when you're led by the Spirit, you don't forget much when it comes to what you're learning.
For sure.
Gemma, stay with you.
Gemma, did you have something to say? You had raised your hand before Sarah. I can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
There we go. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So, I was talking to my dad this weekend, and he said something that was very peculiar to me. It puzzled me, but I've heard it before. He believes that the rapture happened thousands of years ago, and we have been living in this simulation since then. And
Yeah, maybe the old rapture was them sucking us up and putting us in a simulation. What I was going to say about Revelation earlier, is that Revelation is a book that certain people in this world know incredibly well. Christians know it, and the Kabbalists know it incredibly well. They don't seem to know anything about the Gospels. Oh, but they know Revelation. So something tells me that is their playbook. Right? Doesn't mean that there's not truth in it. As I've always told you, the truth and the lie is there at the same time. They have to be honest with you. It's a requirement. The Kabbalah is you have to be honest. But just like this, we've got to be honest. We're going to tell you what's in this thing. It's voluntary. We got to tell you the truth. We got to tell you what we're doing. But the difference is the lie will be so much easier for you to accept than the truth of it will be. It's always that way. The truth and the lie are there. The difference is the truth is harder to accept than the lie. You want to accept the lie. You want to accept it because you want that to be the truth. So you begin manufacturing or maintaining your truth. It's just confirmation bias. We've got to be careful at how we've done this. But we are way far in time. There's only 2.5 hours. I'm going to have to jump off this because boys got to eat. I'm hungry. And keep in mind, these shows take a long time to set up and all this tech. I would love to go for another 3 hours, but I definitely have to eat. And next time I do this, I'll try to start the show earlier so we can do a later time. It's very good to see you, Robin, Sarah C., Blossom Swan, Initiated, Gemma, Scripture, Tyler, and Initiated. So Initiated, I didn't know your real name. I just saw
Thanks for having me on, Derek.
Screen handle.
Love you, Derek. You're awesome.
We need to
Love you all.
strong right now. So just
All right.
Have a good one. God bless.
All right, and I'm gonna show you yet again. Please go visit our